also both have served on the Washington County Commission. And I think at this point you might be the only mother-son duo to actually serve on the Washington County Commission.
Really?
Yeah, I can't find anybody else. Nobody else. I've asked at the courthouse, and nobody seems to remember anybody else.
Well, I tried to explain to him that wasn't what he really wanted to do, but he didn't listen.
Well, I'll start that quick because my history started right here.
Okay.
in Memorial Hospital in 1956. So anything before that, you'll have to talk to Mom about.
Oh dear. Well, we got down here. My grandparents were loggers up on the mountains, and they came down here in 1911, so their two boys could go to the Normal, to ETSU, when it became a school that they could go to, and they moved to Johnson City. And then my father went into business here, and my mother taught school here, and my brother lived here for a number of years before moving to Knoxville. My husband and Daddy Joe's family were all big buddies growing up, and that was very ironic, I thought.
Yeah, my two grandfathers knew each other
now you can
before
put that together.
They got married, and I think it was an arranged marriage, but we're not really sure.
That's what everybody said anyway.
That mom's grandfather, my great grandfather, they were loggers primarily.
Right.
And that was a hard business, and when the Normal school started, I think they valued education so much that they just picked up and moved to Johnson City so the boys could go to school.
Yep.
It was in the county. It was way out there.
It was way out. It was outside the city limits. And my family bought a little strip center, and the man's name that had built it was a little strip center right on the corner of Ronan, whatever it would be now, just right at the top of the hill, named Jug Brown, of all things. And there were only about three or four little shops in there. And then they kept adding a little here and adding a little there. And then Smith Nursing Home came in and built a nursing home there on Princeton, on some land that our family had acquired. And then that evolved into a little shopping center. And it just evolved.
Yeah, Dad in the late 60s, early 70s, started the renovation on bought the Smith Nursing Home and converted it then to, I guess now it's what's part of Colonial Center.
Yeah.
And just took and repurposed, an existing asset into something that's still operational, 40 years later, 50 years later.
Well said.
So the Colonial Center today is part of your family's legacy.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah, we don't have much of an interest in it anymore, but it got its genesis right here.
How did the development of Boone Lake help in Johnson City's development? How did that come about, and what was your family?
It was wonderful. If we could get some water in it, it would help a lot now.
That's true.
We are all so sad that we can't have any water in the lake. Oh my goodness. Well, let's see. Bill had the first boat dock out there in Marina. Now that's using the word loosely, Marina. There were a lot of boats tied to ropes.
Tied to ropes and buoy lines.
But
things
anyway.
were floating on empty oil barrels, and
he built a little restaurant out there, Meredith Grill, and had a cook named Nathan that was the best cook. He made the best French fries.
He did, yeah.
Mitch just loved them.
Yeah, as I was 3 or 4, I guess, I'd walk through the grill and you blanch French fries, and so I'd swing by there and just reach up and grab a handful of those half-cooked French fries, and
he did
it's
all the
cost
time.
me all these years with
dear.
too many carbohydrates.
But it was a real nice little restaurant. A big, long front porch all the way across the front. Long tables that you could sit out there and looked out over the little dock, little office down there, and the boats were all on buoys, and a lot of boathouses then. We were getting some boathouses come in and lease spaces along the waterfront. So,
but yeah, that was really probably the first development, around Boone Lake.
For someone like me that's not from this area, and if I came here at that time, Johnson City, I was staying in Johnson City, how far would it seem like I was going far ways outside the city limits to get to that? I mean, how was it?
Well, you'd have to hook up the horse and buggy.
Okay.
No. It was, it was a 2-lane road, all the way from.
Yeah, it's always been.
I guess from Science Hill, maybe all the way out North Rhone Street till you got to.
We lived out there in a little cabin down in 1955, and traveled back and forth all the time.
Yeah, so I mean,
it's always very, convenient to get for.
Yeah, 20 minutes.
20 minutes. It's not much different from today.
What kind of menu did you have at that restaurant?
Oh gosh.
Friday night specials, lobsters for $2.
It was really a good restaurant on the lake. I mean, and of course you had a lot of doctors that had some money and had pretty big boats, and they'd love to come out there to eat at the grill. A lot of good businessmen that did. So they had good food.
Yeah.
Really good food.
Steaks and lobster.
Steak and lobster, yep.
Always been something that's been very important to the city's history.
But ETSU's changed, I think, brought so many people in.
Obviously it brought your family in, correct?
Oh yeah, they came down 1911. I remember them talking about it very well. They wanted those boys to get a college education.
How about healthcare? You served on, she served on Mountain State's board for many, many years.
Oh, and it has come a long way. When I was looking at that picture of Bob Owens up there in the paper, that just now, I guess did he die? Is that why it's in there? I guess.
Yeah.
I remember when he came here, and we were in a little brick building down on Myrtle or one of those little streets. That was the mental health center. I mean, it wasn't any bigger than this room here. And look what it is today. Man, oh man, oh man. It has come a long way. Well, after 4 terms, I was just really looking forward to that being over, and the worst thing had happened. George Janes had gone out and gotten my petition all signed unbeknownst to me. I had to do it 4 more years. No, I'm teasing. It was not bad. It was wonderful. It was a wonderful experience. A lot of good things happened. You had, when I first went on it, you had such a county-city divide. If it wasn't good for this side, it wasn't good for that side. And slowly but surely that kind of, the rough edges got off that. Things got so people could work together better. Oh, and that made all the difference in the world. Got your new courthouse, a lot of things.
What about the library? That was your efforts on
gosh, yeah. Oh yeah.
You spent a lot of time and effort on that.
Oh yeah. That was, I guess that's the proudest thing, is that when our new library went up. I just was, well, I'm not going to say the proudest thing, but yeah, because that was a lot of work, a lot of hoofing it, raising money, out begging. All the bankers got so they couldn't stand to see me coming.
Well, and I know this isn't county commission, but hospitals. When you were on the, I remember you talking about being on the hospital board and starting the hospital board.
This was really neat. I had a daughter that was a nurse over in the Carolinas. Well, she had a new baby. Well, the hospital had a nursery for her little baby so she could work. And I'm thinking, how come we don't have something like that? How come we don't have something like that? And by George, we all sort of got our heads together on that board and looked into the daycare for the little children, and something developed. Yeah, that was a good move.
One of the things, several things, but I mean the one that kind of stands out the most, and I alluded to my dad serving on the commission, many years ago when they had 42 squires, and I do think that the ability to move the number of commissioners from 25 to 15, we accomplished that, so I think that's good I think that makes for better governance. You still have enough representation and enough people to get stuff done, but it seems to work a little smoother. Outside of the commission role, what I would say is, one of the things that I am proud about, and related to, I guess it goes back to the political public service piece, is that I've been surrounded since I was a young man. I mean, since I was born, with what I think are very strong women. My mother, obviously, and strong's not the right word. Industrious women. My mother, for example, she's the Energizer Bunny. I can't keep up with her. Both of my grandmothers, her mother, who I didn't know because her mom passed away when Mom was 15, 16.
Oh yeah,
early. But she was, just from the stories I've heard, she was a very industrious and get at it and get things done kind of woman. My father's mother
was.
The moss didn't grow, on her feet. She kept moving. So, and Mom has served in public service, and that's kind of what I think drove me. But just having those, seeing, and I think that speaks well to women today is what I'm trying to get at. I'm very proud of it, and I have two sisters who emulate my mother very much. They're not into public service, but they're very industrious, and I think that's a good. She's a good role model.
Oh, well, that's sweet of you to say, but that's
what I'm most proud of.
Nice to have women in government too.
Yes.
More than we used to have.
Yes.
It's just a pleasure to live in Johnson City,
Okay.
and a pleasure for the times that we've been able to make a few little things happen here and there for the good of the community. It's just a wonderful place to live and grow up and raise a family.
That it is.